Beloved, you didn't click this by accident. You didn't land here because you were wandering. This moment is holy, and I am near. I am not far from you while you are trying to hold yourself together. I am not silent because I am absent. I am here close enough to hear the strain in your breathing, close enough to feel the trembling in your hands, close enough to steady the part of you that feels like it's about to give way. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the frantic need to figure it all out, right now, loosen, because I am with you. And I know what you are facing. I know the door that won't open no matter how many times you knock. I know the email you keep refreshing for, the message you keep hoping will finally come through, the call you keep dreading, the decision you keep delaying because you're afraid you'll choose wrong. I know the medical uncertainty, the report, the test, the waiting room silence, the ache that won't explain itself. I know the family tension words spoken that can't be taken back, distance that feels like a wall, a home that doesn't feel like rest. I know the financial pressure, the numbers that don't stretch, the bills that keep arriving, the quiet panic that wakes you up at night and starts counting what you don't have. I know the private weight you carry with a public smile. I know the waterline you're standing at. Because you can see the sea in front of you, can't you? You can see the obstacle that looks too wide, too deep, too final. And you can hear what's behind you, the pressure, the threat, the past that tries to pull you back, the fear that says, hurry, fix it, run, do something, before it's too late. You can feel the squeeze of it. No way forward, no way back, nowhere to put your mind that doesn't lead you into another spiral. You've been trying to think your way out. You've been trying to plan your way through. You've been trying to control what you were never meant to control. Listen to me. The sea in front of you is not stronger than the word I spoke over you, not stronger than what I promised, not stronger than what I decreed, not stronger than what I have already written into your story. What looks like the end is not the end when I have spoken life. What looks like a wall is not a wall when I have decided there will be a way. What looks like delay is not denial when I am arranging what you cannot yet see. My word does not break at the waterline. My word does not drown under pressure. My word stands when everything else is shaking. And I know what happens in you at moments like this. Your mind starts sprinting ahead, trying to build a bridge out of worry. Your heart starts bargaining with panic. What if I lose it? What if it doesn't work? What if I'm too late? What if I'm not enough? And you call that readiness, but it is exhaustion. You call that responsibility, but it is fear wearing a disguise. Beloved, I am not asking you to pretend you don't see the sea. I am not asking you to deny what's real. I am not asking you to go numb, to shut down, to act like pain doesn't hurt. I am calling you to something deeper than denial. I am calling you to obedience. When I tell you to stand still, I am not telling you to do nothing. I am telling you to stop letting panic lead you. I am telling you to stop making fear your counselor. I am telling you to stop grabbing for control as if control can save you. Stand still is not passivity. It is surrender. It is the holy decision to release what you cannot command and to trust the one who can. It is the moment you stop rehearsing disaster and start making room for my peace. It is the moment you say, I will not be driven by what I see. I will be anchored in what God has said. Because there is a difference, hear me, there is a difference between waiting in fear and standing in faith. Waiting in fear feels like punishment. It feels like abandonment. It feels like you're counting seconds, like you're trapped in uncertainty, like you must keep moving or you will fall apart. But standing in faith is different. Standing in faith is quiet strength. It is a settled soul in the middle of an unsettled scene. It is you remaining in my presence, even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. It is you trusting that I am working even when you cannot track it, that I am moving even when you cannot measure it, that I am speaking even when the wind is loud. So stay with me through this. Breathe with me through this. By the end of this journey, you will recognize what has been happening inside you, and you will know how to respond. You will learn to tell the difference between the trembling that comes from carrying an outcome that was never yours, and the peace that comes from placing it back into my hands. You will learn that stillness is not you giving up, it is you giving it over. You will learn that obedience is sometimes the bravest movement you can make, and you will see this truth settle into your bones. What looks like the end in front of you is not stronger than what I have already spoken over you. Beloved, you are not alone at this waterline. I am here, and my word is still Lord over the sea. Now, before you cross anything, breathe, not as a performance, not as a technique, as an act of trust. I am not rushing you. I am not standing over you with impatience. I am not demanding that you sprint across water you have not yet seen part. Come and rest for a moment right here, at the edge of what feels impossible. Unclench your jaw, beloved. Let your tongue stop pressing against the roof of your mouth. Let your shoulders fall from where you've been holding them up near your ears like you've been bracing for impact. Exhale what you've been gripping. Inhale, my presence. You have been breathing short, fast breaths, as if you must outrun what is chasing you. But I am telling you, you are safe enough to breathe slowly in front of the sea. Listen, when you can't breathe, you can't hear. When you live in adrenaline, you will mistake noise for instruction. When fear is loud, you will call panic, wisdom, and control, responsibility, and you will move too quickly, not because I spoke, but because anxiety shoved you. So I bring you back to this simple beginning. Breathe. Let your body learn what your spirit is. Learning stillness is not danger when I am here. Stillness is not losing time when I am leading you. Stillness is not falling behind when I am the one who holds the way forward. And I speak over you what I have spoken for generations. Be still and know that I am God, not as a scolding, not as a slap to your trembling hands, not as a command meant to shame you for feeling. This is shelter. This is a door you can step into when the wind is loud. This is a holy hiding place, when your thoughts are racing and your heart is trying to write the ending before I reveal it. Be still, and know, not guess, not assume, not strive. Know that I am God. Know that I am present. Know that I am able. Know that I am not confused by what confuses you. Know that I am not threatened by what threatens you. Know that I am not late, not weak, not wondering what to do next. I am God, and I am here. Because the truth is, beloved, you have been equating stillness with loss. You think if you stop moving, you will lose time. If you stop fixing, you will lose ground. If you stop calculating every outcome, you will lose control. And you have been afraid that control is the only thing keeping you afloat. But control has not been keeping you afloat. It has been keeping you tired. It has been keeping you tight. It has been keeping you in a constant state of inner emergency, as if peace is irresponsible and rest is dangerous. And I am telling you now, stillness is not you losing control. Stillness is you returning authority to the right hands. What have you been trying to manage that I never assigned to you? What have you been trying to predict that I never asked you to foresee? What have you been trying to carry that was always meant to be placed back into my palm? Hear me. You were not created to be your own savior. You were not built to hold the weight of every possible outcome. You were not designed to live as if everything depends on you. That is why your chest gets tight. That is why your sleep is thin. That is why your mind loops the same conversations, the same fears, the same scenarios, because you are reaching for a throne that was never yours to sit on. So I teach you a better posture. Stillness becomes obedience when you stop letting fear decide your next move. Not because the problem is small, but because I am bigger. Not because you understand, but because you are held. Not because you have answers, but because you have me. And I do not ask you to stand still so you can feel helpless. I ask you to stand still so you can remember who is powerful. I ask you to stand still so your spirit can come back under my voice instead of under the noise. I ask you to stand still so you stop negotiating with panic and start agreeing with my word. Beloved, the noise around you is not the highest authority. The urgency you feel is not always instruction. The pressure in your chest is not prophecy. Sometimes it is simply fear demanding to be obeyed, and fear is a cruel master. It will always ask for more. More checking, more controlling, more explaining, more proving, more rushing. But my voice does not crack the whip. My voice leads you beside still waters, even when the sea in front of you is roaring. My voice gives you peace first. Because peace is how you recognize me when I move. Peace is how you keep your footing when everything around you shakes. Peace is not denial, it is alignment. It is your inner world coming back into agreement with my sovereignty. So choose my voice over the noise. Choose my timeline over adrenaline. Choose my presence over your frantic planning. You have been treating the next step like a test you must pass perfectly, and you are afraid that one wrong move will ruin everything. But I am not asking you to be perfect. I am asking you to be still. I am asking you to trust. I am asking you to let my peace stand guard over your heart, to let my word become the loudest thing in you, to let my spirit steady what has been shaking. Right here, at this waterline, let this be your holy rebellion against fear. You do not have to sprint to be saved. You do not have to scramble to be covered. You do not have to exhaust yourself to prove you care. I care, I see, I know, and I am not rushing you. Stand still and know that I am God. Let your breathing become a prayer without words. Let your loosened shoulders become a confession. I am not my own keeper. Let your quiet become obedience. I will not move because I am scared. I will move when you speak. And I will speak, beloved. I will lead. I will make a way. But first, breathe, because I am bringing you out of panic and into trust. I am bringing you out of noise and into knowing. I am bringing you out of false control and into true surrender. Stay with me here, be still, and know you are held. Now listen to me, beloved, because I am about to place a living mirror in front of your soul, not a story to admire from a distance, not a lesson to file away for another day, but a scene you are standing inside right now. Exodus says they came to the edge of the sea, water ahead, the sound of Pharaoh behind, dust rising, chariots closing in, threat getting louder, and the people of God feeling exactly what you have felt: cornered, pressured, outnumbered, out of options. And they looked at the sea like it was the final word. They looked at what was chasing them like it was the authority. But hear me clearly, even when they felt trapped, I was not trapped. Even when the path looked sealed, my promise was not sealed. Even when the waterline looked like an ending, I had already decided it would become a doorway. And at that waterline, I did not begin by giving them blueprints. I did not begin by explaining how many steps, how many minutes, how I would divide the water, which direction the wind would blow, or what the ground would feel like beneath their feet. I began by steadying the heart, because the heart must be stabilized before the miracle can be recognized. I spoke peace first, because peace is how you see rightly. Peace is how you stop confusing noise with instruction. Peace is how you stop running in circles and start standing under my word. So I speak what I spoke then, and I speak it now. Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and see the salvation I will accomplish for you. Do not be afraid, because fear will always exaggerate the waves and minimize my presence. Stand firm, because panic will push you to move without permission, to choose without listening, to speak without wisdom, to act without peace. And see, because you have been staring at the problem so long that you have forgotten how to look for me. You've been watching what's behind you, measuring the distance of what's chasing you, calculating worst-case outcomes, rehearsing disasters that have not happened, and calling it preparation. But I am restoring your sight. I am returning you to the posture where you can recognize salvation when it arrives. Because this is the paradox you must understand. I often do not calm the sea first. I calm you first. I often do not remove the pressure first. I remove the panic first. I often do not explain the plan first. I establish peace first. Not because details do not matter, but because when your spirit is flooded with fear, even good instructions feel like threats. When your mind is racing, even open doors feel suspicious. When your heart is unstable, you will run past the very provision you prayed for, because it didn't arrive in the shape you expected. So I give you peace before I give you a path. I anchor you before I move the water. I quiet you before I part anything in front of you. And I know what your mind has been doing at this waterline. It has been sprinting. What if it doesn't work? What if I lose everything? What if I wait and it gets worse? What if I move and it collapses? What if this is the moment I make the wrong decision and ruin it all? You've been trying to predict pain so you can avoid it. You've been trying to control outcomes so you can feel safe. You've been trying to hurry what I have not rushed, because waiting feels like vulnerability. And when you feel vulnerable, you reach for activity. You reach for something you can touch, something you can manage, something that makes you feel like you're not helpless. But hear me, panic looks like productivity. Panic will send you to do, so you don't have to feel, so you don't have to trust, so you don't have to stand still long enough to realize I am already here. Beloved, some of the busiest moments of your life have been the moments you were most afraid. All that checking, all that scrolling, all that over-explaining, all that fixing, all that rehearsing conversations in your head, all that trying to stay 10 steps ahead, it has not been wisdom. It has been fear trying to be your shepherd. But I am your shepherd, and I do not lead you with adrenaline. I lead you with my voice. I do not guide you with chaos. I guide you with peace. My spirit does not shove you off cliffs and call it faith. My spirit steadies your feet and teaches you to stand. So let the scripture speak into your bones. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still, not because you are doing nothing, but because you are surrendering what was never yours to carry. Not because you don't care, but because you finally trust me more than you trust your own frantic striving. Not because you are weak, but because you were never meant to win this with human strength. You will not outsmart this sea. You will not muscle your way through this waterline. You will not defeat what is chasing you by arguing harder, working harder, proving harder, pushing harder. This is not the kind of battle that bends to human effort. This is the kind of moment that yields to my authority. And I am telling you, gently but firmly, stop trying to fight the Red Sea with your hands. You were not called to wrestle water. You were called to witness my salvation. You were called to stand under my word, while I do what only I can do. You were called to let peace take its rightful place inside you, so that when I move, you can recognize me and follow. Because when you are frantic, you will mistake my rescue for delay. When you are panicked, you will mistake my protection for silence. When you are ruled by fear, you will keep demanding an explanation when I have already given you a promise. So receive this now as present tense instruction for your waterline. Do not be afraid. Stand firm. See what I will accomplish. Let that be the order in you. Peace, then vision. Stillness, then movement. Surrender, then deliverance. I am not asking you to pretend the sea is not there. I am asking you to stop treating it like it is sovereign. I am not asking you to deny what's behind you. I am asking you to stop letting it decide who you are. Pharaoh behind you cannot cancel the promise over you. The sea in front of you cannot outvote my word. And the anxiety inside you does not get to be the loudest voice anymore. Be still, beloved, not as a pause that leads to despair, but as obedience that leads to sight. Be still long enough for your heart to stop shaking. Be still long enough for my peace to rise like a guard over your mind. Be still long enough to remember, the battle belongs to me, and when I fight, you will not have to force it. You will not have to fake it. You will witness it. You will see salvation because I am the God who makes a way where there was no way, and I do it in a way your fear could never design. Beloved, I know why you feel cornered. I know why your chest tightens as if the walls are moving in. I know why your thoughts get louder the closer you get to the waterline. It is not because you are faithless. It is not because you are broken beyond repair. It is because you have been carrying what was never yours to carry, and fear always becomes loud when you are holding an outcome I never asked you to hold. You have been trying to predict every possible ending so you can protect yourself from pain. You have been trying to manage every relationship, read every tone, anticipate every reaction, fix every misunderstanding before it happens. You have been trying to control every timeline when it should change, how quickly it should resolve, what it should look like when it finally turns around, because waiting makes you feel exposed. And you have called this wisdom. You have called this responsibility. But it has been you carrying divine weight with human shoulders. It has been you reaching for a kind of control that belongs to me. And listen to me, you are tired, not because you are weak, but because you have been lifting what covenant was designed to carry. You are exhausted, not because you don't love me, but because you have been trying to be your own deliverer. You are strained, not because you lack effort, but because you have been spending your strength on an assignment I never gave you. You have been gripping the steering wheel in a storm and wondering why your hands ache, forgetting that I am the one who speaks to winds and waves and they obey. That is why sleep has been thin. That is why you lay down but your mind stays standing. That is why your body rests, but your thoughts keep running. You've been replaying the same scene, haven't you? Rewinding a conversation, reworking a decision, reimagining how you could have said it differently, how you could have prevented it, how you could have controlled it. You keep running the same mental path, hoping it ends differently, hoping you can find a version where you don't get hurt, where you don't lose, where you don't have to wait, where you don't have to trust. And each time you replay it, it doesn't give you peace. It takes more from you. It doesn't make you safer. It makes you tighter. It doesn't make you ready. It makes you weary. And then you wonder why you feel numb when you try to pray. You wonder why worship feels far away. You wonder why your heart feels irritated, why your patience is thin, why small things set you off, why tears come out of nowhere. It is because control drains you. Control demands constant attention. Control is a cruel taskmaster, and it never says, "That's enough." It always says, "One more check, one more message, one more explanation, one more plan, one more backup plan." And by the time you come to me, you are spent, not because I am hard to reach, but because you have been living as though everything depends on you. So let me say this to you with tenderness. It is okay to be tired. It is okay to admit you can't see a way. It is okay to confess, "I don't know what to do next." You are not disqualified because you are worn. You are not rejected because you are overwhelmed. You are not a failure because you have reached the end of your own strength. This is not where I shame you. This is where I meet you. This is where I take what you were never meant to hold, and I place peace back into the parts of you that have been living in constant alarm. Because surrender is not weakness. Surrender is wisdom. Surrender is you telling the truth. I am not God, and I do not have to pretend to be. Surrender is not you failing. It is you finally agreeing with the way I designed you. Not because you're giving up, but because you're giving it over. Not because you don't care, but because you trust me with what you care about. Not because you're lazy, but because you were never meant to be your own savior. Do you hear me, beloved? I did not bring you to the Red Sea so you could prove how strong you are. I brought you here so you could see how faithful I am. This is the place where your control breaks, not to harm you, but to free you. This is the place where your frantic bargaining ends, not because I am cruel, but because I am kind. This is the place where covenant takes over, where my promise speaks louder than your panic, where my protection becomes more real to you than your predictions. At the waterline, the old way of living cannot lead you anymore. The old way says, figure it out, force it, fix it, hurry. The old way says, if you can manage every detail, you can avoid every wound. But that is not freedom. That is bondage dressed like strategy, and I am cutting the cords. I am teaching you a holy release. I am calling you out of the illusion that control can save you, and I am returning you to the truth that I can. So if you feel cornered, don't condemn yourself, bring it to me. Bring me the tightness in your chest. Bring me the constant scanning for danger. Bring me the need to know, the need to be certain, the need to secure the outcome before you obey. Let this be the moment you stop carrying tomorrow as if it is yours to hold. Tomorrow is mine. The sea is mine. The timing is mine. The path is mine. And you, beloved, you are mine. And here is what I want you to understand. The loudness of your fear is not proof that you are about to be destroyed. It is often proof that you are standing at the edge of surrender. Fear screams when it is losing its grip. Control panics when it is being dethroned. That inner urgency, that sense of, I must do something right now, is not always my spirit. Sometimes it is simply the old master realizing you are about to be free. So let it be free, beloved. Let the outcome come out of your hands. Let the timeline come off your shoulders. Let the responsibility of being your own rescuer fall to the ground where it belongs. I am not asking you to carry what I already carry. I am asking you to trust the one who has never dropped you, never misplaced you, never forgotten what he promised. Stand still here and let this diagnosis become deliverance. Your fear has been loud because you've been trying to hold an outcome I never asked you to carry. And now, at your Red Sea, I am not demanding more effort from you. I am inviting deeper surrender. The old grip is breaking, the covenant is speaking, and you are about to learn what it feels like to be held. And now, beloved, since your hands are loosening and your shoulders are lowering, I want you to turn your attention not to magnify what is behind you, but to name it without letting it rule you. Because part of your panic has been the feeling that something is gaining on you, something is closing in, something is about to catch you at the exact moment you are trying to obey. You can feel the heat of it. You can hear the rumble of it. And you have been interpreting that sound as proof that I have left you. But hear me, the sound of pursuit is not the sound of abandonment. The pressure you feel is not proof you are uncovered. The enemy is loud behind you because you are closer to freedom than you have ever been. Pharaoh has many faces in your life, doesn't he? Sometimes it is a deadline that threatens your peace, a clock that feels like a weapon, a demand that says, hurry or else. Sometimes it is an accusation, voices, messages, memories, telling you you'll never change, you'll never make it, you'll always be what you were. Sometimes it is your past mistakes running after you, trying to rewrite your identity, trying to convince you that the promise is no longer yours. because you once failed, once relapsed, once chose wrong, once drifted, once broke what you were trying to build. Sometimes it is a trigger that whispers, just go back, just numb it, just take the edge off, just return to the old comfort. Sometimes it is family pressure, expectations, manipulation, the fear of disappointing people, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being punished for choosing a new path. Sometimes it is financial strain, the tightening in your chest when you look at numbers and they look back like they have authority. Sometimes it is the shame that follows you into quiet rooms, the ache that says, you don't deserve peace. And you have been walking with your head turned, checking behind you, measuring the distance, bracing for impact. But I am speaking to you at this shoreline with prophetic certainty. What pursues you is real, but it is not sovereign. It is loud, but it is not Lord. It is persistent, but it is not permanent. It can chase, but it cannot choose your ending. It can threaten, but it cannot throne itself over what I have decreed. Do you understand me, beloved? Pharaoh may be behind you, but he is not above you. He may be near, but he is not in control. He may be moving, but he cannot outrun my promise over your life. Because I did not bring you out to lose you here. I did not break chains to hand you back to captivity at the shoreline. I did not deliver you from what you could see, just to abandon you to what you cannot. If I called you mine in the middle of your mess, I will not stop calling you mine when the pressure rises. If I held you when your faith was trembling, I will not drop you now that you are standing at the edge of a miracle. If I led you this far, I will lead you through. Not because the enemy is quiet, but because my voice is final. Not because the threat is small, but because my authority is greater. Not because the waves look friendly, but because my word does not change when your circumstances change. You keep thinking, but what if what's behind me catches me before anything in front of me opens? And I am answering you with the calm of heaven, it will not. What's chasing you cannot cancel what I have promised you. The accusation cannot outrun covenant. The deadline cannot outrun destiny. The trigger cannot outrun the new heart I am forming in you. The past cannot outrun the blood that redeemed you. The pressure cannot outrun the hand that covers you. I am not responding to Pharaoh's speed. I am enforcing my promise, and my promise does not arrive breathless. My promise does not arrive late. My promise arrives right on time, right in order, right in the way that protects what I am bringing forth in you. So let me restore your identity while the enemy tries to rewrite it. You are still chosen, even if you feel shaky. You are still held, even if you feel surrounded. You are still covered, even if you feel exposed. You are still welcome, still loved, still mine, still within reach of mercy and strength and help. This pressure is not proof you are abandoned. This pursuit is not proof I have forgotten you. This noise is not proof I am silent. Sometimes the enemy gets loud because he knows he is about to lose access to you. Sometimes the old patterns flare up because the door is closing. Sometimes temptation shouts because agreement is breaking. But I am not intimidated by what is behind you. I have already measured it. I have already named it. I have already placed limits on it. It can come so far and no further. And I want you to feel this, beloved. You do not have to keep turning around. You do not have to keep living with your neck strained, your shoulders tense, your heart racing, as if your rescue depends on your vigilance. Put your face back toward me. Put your attention back under my word. Let your mind stop rehearsing escape routes that I never asked you to take. Let your spirit stop negotiating with fear. You are not your own protector. You are not your own deliverer. You are not the one who has to hold the line. I am. This is why I told you to stand still, not because I am indifferent to what is chasing you, but because I am greater than it, not because I need you frozen, but because I need you faithful. Stillness here is not surrender to Pharaoh, it is surrender to me. It is you saying, I will not be driven by threats. I will not be steered by shame. I will not be pushed by urgency. I will not let pursuit dictate my decisions. It is you letting my peace become your boundary line. It is you refusing to let fear choose your next step. It is you standing in the place where promise is louder than pressure. And now let anticipation rise in you like dawn. If I brought you out, I will not lose you at the shoreline. If I led you through nights you thought would break you, I will not let this morning drown you. If I separated you from Egypt, I will separate you from what still tries to follow you. I am not only the God who starts deliverance, I am the God who finishes it. So hold your ground, beloved. Let my word be the wall around your mind. Let my presence be the strength in your chest. And remember this as you stand at the waterline. What's chasing you cannot outrun what I have promised you. Beloved, now I will make it plain for your everyday life, because stand still is not a poetic phrase I gave you to admire. It is an instruction I gave you to obey. And I know what you have been tempted to do at this shoreline. I know how panic tries to recruit you. Panic comes with urgency in its voice, pressure in its hands, and 1,000 arguments in its mouth. Panic says, move now, speak now, fix now, explain now, decide now. Panic makes you feel like if you do not act immediately, you will lose everything. But hear me. Standing still does not mean you deny the sea. Standing still does not mean you pretend you aren't afraid. Standing still does not mean you avoid responsibility. Standing still does not mean you become careless, passive, or lazy. Standing still means you refuse to make fear your counselor. Standing still means you stop taking direction from adrenaline. Standing still means you stop letting panic write your decisions. Because panic is not wisdom. Panic is a loud narrator, but it is not a faithful guide. Panic will have you calling people you shouldn't call, reopening doors I closed, sending messages that leak your peace, making promises you cannot keep, agreeing to burdens you were never assigned, saying yes out of fear, saying no out of bitterness, rushing a choice just to silence discomfort. Panic will make you feel productive, while it is actually pulling you out from under my covering. It will dress itself like responsibility, but it will lead you like bondage. And I am calling you back to the kind of stillness that is obedience. Obedience that says, I will not be driven, I will not be baited, I will not be hurried out of peace. So I am giving you something practical, something you can hold in your hands tonight. When the wave rises in your chest, pause before you react. When the urge hits to send that text, pray before you type. When you feel pressured to answer immediately, breathe before you decide. When you feel the heat of fear climbing up your spine, put your hand over your heart and let it remember me. Slow your body down long enough for your spirit to catch up. This is not small. This is warfare. This is you, breaking agreement with panic in the tiniest place. One breath, one pause, one restrained reaction, and that tiny place is where freedom begins. You have been negotiating with fear like it has authority, haven't you? You have been sitting at a table with panic, letting it present its case, letting it show you worst-case scenarios, letting it demand a signature. Panic says, if you don't control it, you'll be hurt. Panic says, if you don't rush it, you'll be left behind. Panic says, if you don't defend yourself, you'll be misunderstood. Panic says, if you don't secure the outcome, you'll lose the future. And you've been listening, because fear sounds convincing when you are tired. Fear sounds logical when you have been through pain. Fear sounds like protection when you have been disappointed. But I am telling you, stop negotiating with panic. Stop bargaining with dread. Stop entertaining urgency that did not come from me. Give me the steering wheel you've been gripping with white knuckles. Give me the wheel of that conversation you keep trying to control. Give me the wheel of that outcome you keep trying to guarantee. Give me the wheel of that timeline you keep trying to force. Give me the wheel of that relationship you keep trying to manage. You are exhausted because you have been driving in a storm you were never meant to navigate alone. And I am not asking you to sit still because I am withholding. I am asking you to sit still because I am leading. I am not telling you to be still because nothing is happening. I am telling you to be still because I am fighting in ways you cannot see. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Let that be your anchor line when your mind tries to run ahead of my timing. Let that be the sentence you whisper when your fingers itch to fix what I have not asked you to fix. Let that be the truth you put on your nightstand when darkness tries to convince you that you are alone with this. The Lord will fight for you. Not might, will. The Lord will fight for you. Not after you panic enough. Not after you prove yourself enough. Not after you explain yourself perfectly. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Still enough to hear me. Still enough to obey me. Still enough to remain under my word when fear tries to pull you out into rashness. And do not mistake my stillness for delay. Stillness is not a dead end. Stillness is positioning. Stillness is alignment. Stillness is the holy moment where your spirit stops flailing and starts listening. because haste makes you miss holy doors. Hurry will have you running past the opening because it didn't look like you expected. Hurry will have you stepping onto unstable ground because you couldn't wait for the dry path I was preparing. Hurry will have you choosing noise over instruction, movement over obedience, speed over safety. But when you stand still with me, your eyes clear, your hearing sharpens, your heart steadies, and you become ready not to force a way, but to recognize the way when I reveal it. I know you think you must do something to feel safe, but I am teaching you a deeper safety. You are safe, not because everything is fixed, but because you are held. You are safe not because the sea has moved yet, but because my word has not changed. You are safe not because Pharaoh got quiet, but because I have already placed limits on him. And in this safety, you can practice obedience in small moments that break the spiral. One breath instead of one rant. One prayer instead of one impulsive message. One pause instead of one hurried decision. One Father, I trust you, instead of one midnight plan that only multiplies your anxiety. So tonight, beloved, when panic comes with its clipboard and its deadlines and its threats, do not sign. When fear tries to counsel you, do not consult it. When urgency tries to shove you, do not follow it. Stand still, not as a freeze of defeat, but as a posture of trust. Not as avoidance, but as surrender. Not as laziness, but as obedience. Let stillness be the sentence your life speaks to heaven. I will not move without my God. I will not speak from fear. I will not decide from pressure. I will not rush past peace. And I promise you this, as you stop negotiating with panic, you will start recognizing my movement. As you stop being driven by fear, you will start being led by peace. As you stop forcing doors, you will start seeing the doors I open with my own hand. Stand still, beloved, not because you are stuck, but because you are being set up to see. Stand still, not because I am far, but because I am near. Stand still, because the moment you stop letting panic write your decisions is the moment your heart becomes quiet enough to notice that I am already making a way. Now, beloved, I want you to mark this moment, because fear tries to make your Red Sea feel like a private place of shame, like you should hide your trembling and pretend you're fine. But I am not calling you to hide. I am calling you to agree with me. I am calling you to put a faith marker at the waterline so your soul remembers what heaven said when the waves look tall. Because a spoken declaration turns a fear-filled moment into a faith-marked moment. It takes what panic named the end, and it places my name over it as the beginning. So if this word is meeting you right where you are, if it feels like I have been speaking directly into your chest, directly into your racing mind, then do this with me right now. Type in the comments, I will stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, not as a slogan, not as a performance, as an act of obedience, as a line in the sand. As you placing your trembling hands into mine and saying, I will not be driven by fear. I will not be rushed by pressure. I will not move without my God. Type it, beloved, and let your own eyes see it. Let your heart witness its own surrender. Let the enemy see your agreement break. Let the atmosphere around your mind hear you choose trust. And as you type it, breathe again, because I am not asking you to shout to be heard. I am near enough to hear a whisper. I am close enough to count your breaths. This is not about volume. This is about alignment. This is about you letting your mouth come into agreement with my word instead of agreeing with your worst-case thoughts. Because you have rehearsed the fear long enough, now rehearse the promise. You have repeated the panic long enough, now repeat the scripture. Stand still and see. Stand still and see. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And if this is speaking to your Red Sea moment, tap like as your yes to my peace. Let that simple action be your agreement that you are done letting anxiety lead. Let it be your quiet declaration that you receive the stillness I am offering you. Not because a button changes your circumstances, but because agreement changes your posture. And when your posture changes, you can recognize my hand when it moves. When your posture changes, you stop running in circles on the shoreline and you start standing under my covering. If this is your yes, give it to me tap like, and let your heart say, Father, I trust you here. And beloved, I know some of you are in a night season where you need steady reminders, steady scripture, steady prayers, because the waterline is loud and the enemy behind you is loud. and your own thoughts can be loud. So, subscribe if you want more scriptures and prayers for impossible seasons, so you don't face the shoreline alone. I am building your strength, one word at a time. I am teaching your spirit how to stay calm while the sea is still in front of you. I am giving you a rhythm of faith so you do not have to reinvent hope every time fear visits at midnight. Stay close, beloved. Keep receiving. Keep letting me wash your mind with truth until peace becomes your normal again. Now, come back into stillness with me. Come back under my voice. Come back into that holy pause where you stop striving and start seeing, because I am already opening what you cannot yet see. I am already arranging what you cannot yet explain. I am already moving in places your fear cannot follow, and you will not have to force it. You will not have to drown trying to prove your faith. You will not have to sprint to earn a miracle. Your job at the waterline is obedience, stillness that trusts me, stillness that listens, stillness that refuses panic's pen. So, settle your shoulders, unclench your jaw, let your breathing slow, let your spirit take its rightful seat again. I am here, I am not confused. I am not late. I am not intimidated by the sea in front of you or the noise behind you. Stand still, beloved. Stay with me here for a moment longer, because the moment you stop grasping is the moment you begin to notice that I have been making a way all along. Beloved, now I will tell you what your eyes have not been able to prove yet, but your spirit has been sensing in the quiet. You are standing there, looking at the same water, the same walls, the same impossible space in front of you, and your mind keeps asking, where is the opening? Where is the sign? Where is the evidence? And I am answering you with tenderness and certainty. You don't see the way because I am building it in places your fear can't follow. You don't see it because I am working where anxiety cannot micromanage, where control cannot interfere, where your worst-case scenarios cannot reach with their trembling hands. Before you whisper the full prayer, I am already arranging the answer. Before you find the right words, I have already heard the ache behind the words. Before you can explain it clearly, I have already measured it completely. You think your situation is waiting on your perfect sentence, your perfect plan, your perfect faith, and I am telling you, no. My movement is not dependent on your performance. My help is not delayed until you sound strong. I am already moving. I am already going before you. I am already touching what you cannot touch, speaking to what you cannot speak to, shifting what you cannot shift. There are things happening right now that you cannot track with your natural eyes. I am softening hearts that once felt like stone. I am turning no into not yet, and not yet into yes, and I am doing it without needing you to beg in panic. I am repositioning resources you thought were gone, rerouting provision you thought had missed you, and aligning support you didn't know I had assigned to your story. I am closing doors that looked like opportunity but were actually danger, and you called it delay when it was mercy. I am holding back what would have harmed you, and you called it silence when it was protection. I am slowing what would have crushed you, and you called it being forgotten when it was me keeping you safe. Listen to me, beloved. Not because I forgot you, but because I am protecting you. Not because it's late, but because it's being prepared. Not because I have turned away, but because I am working ahead. You are not being punished by the pace. You are being covered by the pace. You keep thinking you need the sea to move so you can breathe, but I am giving you breath so you can obey. I am giving you peace first, so you will recognize salvation when it arrives. Because if I opened it while you were at the peak of panic, you would run across it as if it were your own strength, and you would carry fear into a place I designed for freedom. But I am not only parting a sea, I am forming a people. I am not only changing a circumstance, I am healing a posture. So when it feels quiet, do not assume it is empty. Silence is not always absence, beloved. Sometimes silence is construction. Sometimes the quiet is the sound of my hands building what cannot be rushed. Sometimes the reason you don't hear much is because I am doing deep work, work under the surface, work behind the scenes, work in the hidden places where foundations are laid. You have mistaken my hiddenness for hesitation, but I am not hesitating. I am harmonizing. I am aligning timing with readiness, opening with obedience, promise with preparation. I am making sure that when you step forward, you step onto what will hold you. And I know your thoughts say, but if God is moving, why do I still feel stuck? Because you have been trained to believe that movement must be visible to be real. But I am teaching you to trust the unseen. I am teaching you to walk by faith and not by sight. I am teaching you that the truest work often happens where you cannot take credit, because if you could see every step I was taking, you would try to manage it. If you could predict every turn, you would try to control it. And I love you too much to let your fear sit in the driver's seat while I am delivering you. There are delays you call denial that are actually deliverance. There are pauses you call punishment that are actually precision. There are closed doors you call disappointment that are actually my hand, keeping you from a path that would have cost you more than you knew. And one day, listen, one day you will look back and thank me for what didn't open when you demanded it, for what didn't happen when you panicked, for what didn't move when you tried to force it, because you will see it then. I was saving you from what you were too tired to discern. I was protecting you from what you were too emotional to measure. I was arranging it so you would not only get through, but get through whole. So let me train your interpretation in this holy place. When you don't see it yet, don't conclude I am not doing it. When you don't feel it yet, don't assume I am not near. When you don't have an update yet, don't let your mind write a tragedy. Let your soul rest in truth. I am working even when you cannot witness the work. I am moving even when you cannot map the movement. I am answering even when you cannot yet hold the answer in your hands. And here is the turning point you must hold on to at the shoreline. The sea does not part at the peak of panic. It parts at the point of obedience. Not when fear screams loudest, but when surrender becomes real. Not when you run in circles rehearsing outcomes, but when you stand still long enough to hear my instruction and trust it. That is why I called you into stillness, because stillness makes room for obedience, and obedience positions you for unveiling. So, stay with me, beloved. Stay steady. Stay surrendered. Let your breathing remain slow while your faith remains awake. Do not demand a visible bridge while I am building a path through the impossible. Do not interpret the waiting as wasted time when it is holy timing. You may not see the way yet, but that does not mean there is no way. It means I am making it where your fear cannot go, and I will reveal it at the exact moment it becomes safe to step forward. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared. You are not alone. I am already there. Beloved, you keep checking the horizon like it owes you proof. You keep looking for a crack in the waterline, a change in the wind, a sign that the situation has finally turned, and every time you don't see it fast enough, your thoughts start to hurry, your chest tightens, and that old urge rises again. Maybe I should force something, maybe I should fix it, maybe I should run. But listen to me. The horizon is not your master. The clock is not your God. The delay is not your enemy. I am not bound to your urgency, and I am not intimidated by your timeline. I am teaching you something holy here. You do not need proof to be held. You need surrender to be led. Because what you are calling slow, I call merciful. What you are calling late, I call precise. What you are calling nothing is happening, I am preparing what will not collapse under you. I do not just part seas, I part them in order. I part them with purpose. I part them with timing that protects your life, your mind, your future, and the people attached to your obedience. I know you want it instantly because you are tired. I know you want it immediately because the pressure behind you feels close. But I am not only concerned with getting you out, I am concerned with getting you through whole. I have told you in my word, and I will echo it over you now. I make everything beautiful in its time, not in your rush, not in your panic, not in the moment you feel you cannot wait one more hour. In its time, and do you hear the mercy in that, beloved? Beauty has a timing. Deliverance has a timing. Openings have a timing. If I gave you what you demanded at the moment you demanded it, you would call it love, but you would not see the danger you avoided. You would not see the weight you were spared. You would not see the harm that was prevented by my restraint. My timing is part of my kindness. My pace is part of my protection. So let me correct the lie that has been whispering to you at the shoreline. Not yet is not no. Not now is not never. You have been interpreting wait as rejection, but I am telling you, waiting is often the evidence that I am handling details you cannot see. You think the pause means I have forgotten, but I am using the pause to cover you. You think the silence means absence, but I am using the silence to keep you from running onto ground that cannot hold you. I am not withholding because I am cruel. I am ordering because I am careful. I am delaying because I am defending. Some of you, if the sea had opened the first time you cried, you would have crossed with a heart still ruled by fear, and fear would have made you trip over freedom. Some of you, if I had answered the first time you demanded it, you would have stepped into a door that looked like relief but led to a worse captivity. Some of you, if I had sped it up to match your anxiety, you would have blamed me later for what haste produced. So I slow you down, not to frustrate you, but to save you. I slow you down until your spirit can lead your body. I slow you down until peace is louder than panic. I slow you down until you can recognize my voice without needing chaos to motivate you. And hear me closely. I am not just preparing the path, I am preparing the crossing. You want a miracle you can see, but I am giving you a miracle you can carry: steadiness, discernment, patience, obedience that does not collapse when the wind shifts. I am teaching you to move when I say move, and to stand when I say stand, because your safety is not only in the opening, your safety is in the instruction. When you learn my pace, you learn my protection. When you honor my timing, you honor my wisdom. When you stop trying to outrun me, you stop stepping into what I never assigned. You keep asking, why can't it be now? And I answer you with the tenderness of a father, because now would cost you more than you know. Because now would expose you before you are covered. Because now would rush you into a crossing while parts of you are still bleeding from Egypt. Because now would make you rely on adrenaline instead of my voice. Because now would make you think you did it. And I love you too much to let you carry that burden of thinking deliverance depends on your speed. It does not. Deliverance depends on my word, and my word does not fail. So let your heart unclench around when. Let your mind stop measuring my faithfulness by minutes and messages and visible shifts. Trust is not measured by speed, beloved. Trust is measured by surrender. Trust is not proved by how fast you can fix it. Trust is proved by how fully you can release it. When you can say, Father, I don't like this pace, but I will not leave your covering to satisfy my impatience, you are growing. When you can say, not my timing, but yours, you are aligning. When you can say, I will not interpret the wait as waste, you are seeing with faith. And I know the ache of waiting. I know the nights that feel longer because you keep listening for movement. I know the way you replay conversations, the way you check for updates, the way you look at the same problem from 10 angles, hoping one angle will become a door. But I am inviting you into rest without resignation, into stillness without despair, into patience that is not powerless but partnered with me. You are not stuck, you are being timed. You are not forgotten, you are being covered. You are not delayed, you are being directed. Stay with me at this waterline. Let my peace become your clock. Let my presence become your proof. I will open what needs to open, and I will close what needs to close, and I will do it with a precision that protects you. I will make everything beautiful in its time, including this crossing. And when it happens, it will not only be possible, it will be safe, it will be right, it will be mine. Beloved, now listen closely, because timing does not mean I leave you empty-handed. Stillness does not mean I leave you powerless. While you are watching the waterline and wondering when, I am also looking at what is already in your hand. Because, at the Red Sea, Israel did not invent a bridge. They did not engineer a solution. They did not negotiate with the water. I gave an instruction, and I met their obedience with my power. Moses did not part the sea by strength, he lifted a staff. A piece of wood, an ordinary thing, a familiar thing, something that had been with him in the wilderness before he ever saw the shoreline. And I chose that ordinary obedience as the place where extraordinary deliverance would be revealed. Do you see what I am teaching you? I do not ask you to create the miracle. I ask you to obey the step. I do not demand that you control the outcome. I ask that you align with my voice, because your small obedience is a doorway where my power meets your need. Not because your action is powerful, but because your obedience puts you in position. Not because you are strong enough to move the sea, but because you are humble enough to follow my instruction. Not because the staff had magic in it, but because my word was on it. My word, beloved, my word is what carries power. And when your hands agree with my word, heaven touches earth in ways you cannot manufacture. And I know what you have been waiting for. You have been waiting for something big, something obvious, something that feels like a thunderclap of certainty. But often, I begin your crossing with something small so you will know it was me, and so you will learn my voice without needing drama to validate it. I will ask you to forgive when your pride wants to hold the record. I will ask you to apologize when your fear wants to defend itself. I will ask you to apply again when rejection tried to make you stop believing. I will ask you to show up again when disappointment told you to hide. I will ask you to rest when your anxiety says, work harder. I will ask you to tell the truth when the lie seems safer. I will ask you to ask for help when your shame says, handle it alone. I will ask you to return to prayer when your heart feels too tired to try again. These are your staff moments, simple acts, quiet acts, ordinary steps that do not look like a sea parting, but they are the beginning of the parting. Because you keep waiting for the water to move before you move. But sometimes I am waiting for your obedience to align you with the path I am opening. Not because I am withholding, but because I am building trust in you. Not because I need you to earn what I give, but because I love you enough to teach you how to walk free. Freedom is not only a destination, beloved, it is a discipline. It is a way of responding. It is a posture that says, I will do what you say even before I see what you're doing. And that posture is powerful in my hands. Now let me release you from the shame that has been choking your faith. You have been telling yourself, my faith isn't strong enough. My prayer isn't consistent enough. My mind is too loud. My heart is too wounded. And you have been waiting to feel perfect before you obey. But hear me, you do not need perfect faith. You need present faith. You do not need a flawless record. You need a willing heart. You do not need to feel fearless. You need to be faithful. Present faith looks like one step in the right direction while your knees still tremble. Present faith looks like choosing obedience while your emotions are still catching up. Present faith looks like saying, Father, I don't know how this will work, but I will do the next right thing you are asking of me. And I am not despising your small beginnings. I am not mocking your tiny steps. I am not measuring you by how loud you can shout or how fearless you can sound. I am watching for agreement. I am watching for surrender. I am watching for the moment you stop demanding control and start offering obedience. Because the enemy has tried to convince you that if you cannot do something massive, you should do nothing at all. But that is not my wisdom. I use mustard seed faith. I use simple prayers. I use one breath of surrender. I use one decision that breaks with panic. I use one honest confession. I use one return. I use one yes whispered through tears. I use what you will place in my hands. So ask me, beloved, even now, what is the staff in my hand? What is the simple instruction I have been repeating to you while you begged for a bigger sign? What is the small obedience you keep postponing because it doesn't look impressive, because it doesn't feel like a miracle, because it requires humility, because it requires trust? Is it the call you need to make? Is it the boundary you need to keep? Is it the apology you need to offer? Is it the forgiveness you need to release? Is it the application you need to submit again? Is it the counseling you need to pursue? Is it the Sabbath you need to honor? Is it the truth you need to speak gently and clearly? Is it the prayer you need to return to simple, sincere, unpolished, but real? Do not overlook the ordinary thing. In my hands, ordinary obedience becomes a holy lever. And listen, this is where peace and action meet. Obedience is not panic. Obedience is not rushing. Obedience is not you trying to part the sea with your own strength. Obedience is calm alignment. Obedience is the quiet courage that says, I will do what God said, and I will not add fear to it. Obedience is you lifting what I placed in your hand and trusting that my power will meet you there. You are not being asked to perform. You are being asked to follow. You are not being asked to prove. You are being asked to trust. So let this settle into your spirit. I am not asking you to part the sea, beloved. That is my work. I am asking you to take the step I give you. I am asking you to lift the staff of small obedience. And when I part what you cannot part, do not freeze in disbelief. Do not stand at the edge arguing with the opening. Do not delay because you are afraid of what freedom feels like. When it parts, follow me. When it opens, walk. When it is time, move. Because my deliverance is not a performance to admire, it is a path to walk on, and I will not open a way just to tease you. I will open it to take you through. You are closer than you think. Your next step is smaller than you fear, and your Father is not confused about how to bring you out. Lift what I told you to lift. Do what I told you to do. Not because your action is mighty, but because my might meets your obedience. Not because your hands are perfect, but because they are mine. And when you place that small yes into my hands, you will see it. Beloved, you will see how quickly I can turn a staff into a sign, a step into a crossing, and a surrender into salvation. And now, beloved, I need you to hear me clearly, because some of you have been afraid of the very moment you've been praying for. You think you want the sea to open, but you are terrified of stepping forward when it does, because you have been hurt at other shorelines. You have taken steps before, and the ground gave way. You have trusted before, and someone dropped you. You have tried again, and it didn't work the way you hoped, and your heart learned to flinch. So even as you say, God, make a way, another part of you whispers, but what if I drown? What if I fail again? What if I'm embarrassed again? What if I'm disappointed again? And I am not angry at that fear, I am naming it so it loses its power over you. Listen to me, I am not calling you into chaos. I am calling you into trust. I am not inviting you to gamble with your life. I am not leading you with confusion and then blaming you for being afraid. I am the God who goes before you, and when I open a way, I also provide the ground to hold you. I do not part seas to watch my children sink. I do not speak go forward and then remove my covering. I am not a cruel voice shouting move while withholding what you need to survive the moving. I am your father, I am your shepherd, and my leadership is protection. And yes, hear me, sometimes the water is deep, sometimes the walls on either side are high, sometimes the path looks impossible to your natural mind. But you will be safe, not because the water isn't deep, but because my hand is steady. You will be held, not because the circumstance is suddenly harmless, but because I am present and I am precise. You keep asking for a guarantee that nothing will feel scary, and I am giving you something greater, my faithful presence in what feels scary. You are not safe because everything is fixed in an instant. You are safe because you are mine. Do you remember what I did at that Red Sea? I did not just separate water, I made a way on dry ground. I did not just create an opening, I created stability. I did not only remove what blocked you, I provided what would carry you. I know you think the miracle is the water moving, but the tenderness of the miracle is the ground beneath your feet. The mercy is that I do not call you to step onto something that cannot hold you. When I lead, I also support. When I direct, I also defend. When I command, I also cover. And I know what your fear is arguing, but what if I step out and it closes? What if I start and I can't finish? What if I obey and I look foolish? Beloved, you have been measuring my future by your past. You have been expecting me to treat you like people treated you. You have been bracing for me to change my mind the way others did. But I am not unstable. I am not inconsistent. I am not impulsive. I do not lure you forward to shame you. I do not open doors to mock you. I do not call you out to abandon you. If I brought you to the shoreline, it is because I already accounted for the crossing. And let me speak to the place in you that still feels like a slave, even after I promised freedom, because that is what makes this moment feel so dangerous to you. Slaves cross with panic. Slaves cross with a backward glance. Slaves cross as if they have to earn survival, as if they have to outrun judgment, as if they have to prove they deserve deliverance. But you are not crossing as a slave. You are crossing as a son. You are crossing as a daughter. You are crossing as one I have claimed, one I have named, one I have kept. And sons and daughters cross differently. They cross with trust. They cross with the knowledge that their father would not send them where his hand will not hold them. So when the path appears, do not interpret the trembling in your knees as a sign you should stay. Sometimes trembling is simply the body catching up to the Spirit's decision. Sometimes your heart has already said yes, and your nerves are just unlearning Egypt. Do not condemn yourself for feeling afraid, but do not obey the fear. Do not let yesterday's pain sit on today's instruction. Do not let old disappointment become a prophet over your future. I am rewriting what you expect when you obey me. I am healing the part of you that believes forward always ends in loss. And I want you to know this as well. I do not only give you a path, I give you my presence on the path. I will be a wall where you need a wall. I will be light where you need light. I will be breath where you feel breathless. I will be peace when your mind tries to run ahead. You will not have to maintain yourself by adrenaline. You will not have to keep yourself by perfection. I will keep you. I will stabilize you. I will teach you to walk steady even while the waters stand like witnesses around you. Because the crossing is not just escape, beloved. The crossing is transformation. I am not only getting you away from what chased you, I am teaching you who you are when you are no longer chased. I am not only removing you from bondage, I am delivering you into a new way of thinking, a new way of breathing, a new way of trusting. That is why I am so careful with the ground beneath you. I am forming your identity with every step. I am showing you, step by step, that you can move forward without panic, that you can obey without self-destruction, that you can trust without losing yourself. So let my assurance settle into the loud places in you. I am not opening a way to drown you. I am opening a way to deliver you. I am not leading you into humiliation. I am leading you into healing. I am not calling you into recklessness. I am calling you into obedience. Obedience that is steady, obedience that is safe, obedience that is held. And if you have been afraid to move because you thought the next step would swallow you, hear your Father now. When I open the way, I also provide the ground. The path will hold you. My word will hold you. My hand will hold you. So breathe, beloved. Let the fear loosen its grip. Let the need to predict every outcome fall quiet. You do not have to see the entire journey to trust the one who guides it. You only need to stay close to me. You only need to keep your heart soft to my instruction. And when it is time to step, you will not be stepping into chaos. You will be stepping onto what I have prepared. Dry ground is coming, and you will walk through, not as the person who used to be owned by fear, but as the one who is learning, at last, to be led. Beloved, the sea in front of you may still look tall, and the wind may still sound the same, and the evidence may still feel stubborn. But listen to me. Before the water moves out there, I can move something in here. Before you see a path with your eyes, I can make a path in your mind. Because the first sea I often part is the one inside you, the racing thoughts that won't stop, the dread that wakes you up before the sun, the tightness in your chest that keeps you bracing as if disaster is a schedule you cannot cancel. I see the way you have been fighting yourself while you wait for me to fight for you. I see the way panic has been multiplying your problem, adding fear to the facts, adding shame to the pressure, adding self-blame to the pain. And I am not asking you to conquer that sea with willpower. I am asking you to let me speak into it. There is a kind of storm that happens without thunder, a kind of drowning that happens without water. It is the drowning of what if. What if it doesn't change? What if it gets worse? What if I lose everything? What if I made the wrong move? What if I'm not enough? What if I'm being punished? What if I'm too late? And you have been rehearsing these questions so often that they have started to sound like wisdom, like preparation, like responsibility. But it is not preparation when it steals your breath. It is not responsibility when it removes your rest. It is not wisdom when it makes you forget my voice. Fear is loud, beloved, but loud does not mean true. Panic speaks fast, but fast does not mean right. So I am giving you a different language at the waterline. I am teaching you to exchange what if for even if. Even if I do not see it yet, I am working. Even if I cannot feel the shift yet, I am present. Even if the sea still looks the same this hour, my word has not changed. Even if the enemy behind you shouts, my promise over you is louder. Even if your hands tremble, my hand is steady. Do you feel what changes when you speak like that? You stop trying to predict the future, and you start trusting the one who holds it. You stop bargaining with dread, and you start agreeing with my faithfulness. You stop letting your imagination torture you, and you let it become a sanctuary where my truth can live. Because peace, beloved, is not earned. Peace is received. You do not work your way into calm by solving every detail. You do not earn rest by proving you worried hard enough. You do not qualify for steadiness by being strong every moment. Peace is a gift I place on you when you stop trying to manufacture control. Peace is what happens when you finally admit, Father, I cannot carry this outcome, and you let that burden slide out of your clenched hands into mine, not because you are weak, but because you were never meant to carry it. Not because you are failing, but because you are surrendering. Not because nothing matters, but because I matter most. And I need you to hear this with tenderness, because shame has been trying to interpret your anxiety as disqualification. You have been saying, if I were really faithful, I wouldn't feel this. You have been accusing yourself for being human, condemning yourself for trembling, punishing yourself for having a nervous system that remembers pain. But I am not standing over you with disappointment. I am standing beside you with peace. You are still welcome, still chosen, still invited, even while the sea is still visible, even while the answer is still forming, even while your feelings are still catching up to. My word, my love, does not wait for you on the other side of calm. My love meets you in the middle of the shaking and says, come closer. So let me do the miracle where you live first inside. Let me part the waters of accusation that keep telling you it's your fault. Let me part the waters of regret that keep dragging you backward. Let me part the waters of comparison that keep making you feel behind. Let me quiet the inner courtroom where you keep putting yourself on trial. I do not lead you with condemnation. I lead you with light. I do not shepherd you with fear. I shepherd you with my voice. And when my peace settles in you, it becomes proof, not that everything is finished, but that you are trusting me in the unfinished place. Peace is not denial. Peace is alignment. Peace is your spirit agreeing with my sovereignty while your eyes are still learning. Now breathe with me, beloved. Let your shoulders drop. Let the jaw unclench. Let the thoughts slow down enough to be named. And when the old what if rises, answer it with my truth. Even if I don't understand, God understands. Even if I don't see the way, God is the way. Even if the timeline is not mine, His timing is merciful and precise. Even if I feel surrounded, I am covered. Even if I cannot fix it, I am not forsaken. This is how you stand still without being paralyzed. Your body may be at the shoreline, but your heart is resting in me. Because when peace returns, you can hear instruction. When panic is talking, my guidance sounds distant. When fear is driving, you confuse urgency for direction, but stillness makes room for my whisper. Stillness clears the static. Stillness is not you doing nothing, it is you making space for me to speak, for me to lead, for me to tell you when to wait and when to move. I do not just want you delivered, I want you directed. I do not just want you out of Egypt, I want you trained in freedom. And freedom begins where panic ends. So let this be the miracle that starts right now. Before the sea moves in front of you, peace can move inside you. Before the path appears outwardly, I can steady you inwardly. Before the breakthrough becomes visible, trust can become tangible. Receive it, beloved. Let my peace be the first sign that I am already at work. And as you settle, as you soften, as you surrender the need to control what only I can open, you will notice something holy. You can hear me again. You can sense my nearness again. You can recognize my instruction again. And that is how you will cross. Not pushed by panic, but led by peace. And now, beloved, because your heart is getting quiet enough to hear me, I must speak to you about the moment that often comes right before the crossing becomes real. It is the moment when the old life starts calling your name. The moment when Egypt feels loud behind you and the unknown feels wide in front of you. The moment when you are tempted to turn back, not because you love bondage, but because you recognize it. Not because it was good, but because it was familiar. Not because it didn't cost you, but because you learned how to survive inside it. And I am not surprised by that temptation. I see it. I understand it. I am not shaming you for feeling it. I am warning you so it does not lead you. Because there is a part of you that has been trained to reach for what you can predict when you feel afraid. So when the future feels unfamiliar, you start romanticizing what once broke you. You start thinking, at least I knew what to expect. You start reaching back for old patterns, overfunctioning, people-pleasing, controlling every detail, exploding, withdrawing, numbing. You start considering that old connection again, that toxic voice again, that relationship that kept you small, that conversation that always leaves you drained. You start visiting the same habits that helped you escape your feelings, scrolling until your soul is hollow, eating your anxiety, drinking your peace away, pretending you don't care, working until you cannot hear me. You do it because fear tells you, if you go back, you'll feel safer. But hear me, beloved, familiar bondage is still bondage. It just feels safer because you already learned the chains. I need you to let this settle deep. I did not rescue you to return you. I did not pull you out so you could rebuild what I delivered you from. I did not break the yoke just for you to put it back on when the road gets quiet and your mind gets loud. And yes, I know why you want what's familiar. I know the unknown makes your chest tighten. I know freedom can feel exposed at first, because you don't yet have muscle memory for peace. I know the silence can make you want to fill it. I know the open space can make you want to run back to noise. But I am your father, and I am telling you the truth with tenderness. The thing you are tempted to return to will not protect you. It will only postpone your healing and multiply your wounds. Not because freedom is easy, but because bondage is costly. Bondage always charges you. It charges you sleep. It charges you joy. It charges you clarity. It charges you identity. It charges you time you will never get back. It charges you peace in exchange for temporary comfort. It charges you by making you smaller every time you compromise. And the enemy would love to make you believe that turning back is wisdom, that returning is caution, that retreat is maturity. But it is not maturity to rebuild a prison because the wilderness feels unfamiliar. It is not wisdom to return to what I already proved I could not bless. It is not safety to go back to what keeps you sick just because you know the symptoms. So listen closely, beloved, because this is how you hold your ground when the old life starts calling. This is how you stand still without turning back. You set guardrails, not because you are fragile, but because you are free and you intend to stay that way. You limit the voices that feed your fear. You do not let everyone have access to your mind in a vulnerable season. You do not keep replaying the opinions of people who never carried your calling. You do not keep inviting counsel from those who are comfortable with your bondage, because your freedom confronts them. Some voices sound like concern, but they produce panic. Some conversations feel like venting, but they drain your faith. So be wise. Protect your peace. Not everyone gets to speak at your shoreline. And I am speaking to your daily habits too, because freedom is kept in small choices. When fear rises, choose worship over doom scrolling. Choose praise over panic research. Choose to lift your eyes instead of feeding your dread. I am not asking you to pretend the sea isn't there. I am telling you to stop letting the sea be your only view. Turn your face toward me. Let a song be your boundary. Let gratitude be your interruption. Let your mouth remember who I am, because when you worship, you are not escaping reality. You are aligning with the highest reality. You are reminding your nervous system that it is not in charge. You are reminding your spirit that my word is still true. And when rumination tries to take you hostage, when your mind starts circling the same fear, the same regret, the same what if, the same worst case ending, I want you to replace it. Not just resist it. Replace it with scripture. Replace it with my promises. Replace it with truth that outlives your feelings. Say what I have said. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I will guide you with my eye. I will keep in perfect peace the one whose mind is stayed on me. The enemy wants you to keep rehearsing disaster until it feels inevitable, but I am giving you a new rehearsal. Rehearse my faithfulness. Rehearse my character. Rehearse the times I already carried you when you thought you wouldn't make it. You are not powerless against your thoughts, beloved. You are being trained to take refuge in me. And if you feel the pull to run back today, do not panic about the pull. Do not condemn yourself. Do not say, maybe I'm not changed. Temptation is not proof you are failing. It is proof you are moving. It is proof you are leaving something behind that does not want to lose you. So take it one breath at a time, one faithful breath, one obedient breath. You do not have to be fearless to keep walking forward. You only have to be faithful. Faithful enough to pause before you text that number again. Faithful enough to close the tab that feeds your anxiety. Faithful enough to say, no, I will not self-soothe with what destroys me. Faithful enough to ask me for help instead of hiding. Faithful enough to choose the next right thing while your emotions are still loud. Because the future feels unfamiliar, yes, but it is not unsafe. The unfamiliar is where I do new things. The unfamiliar is where I heal old patterns. The unfamiliar is where I teach you to live without chains. And I will not abandon you in the learning. I will not leave you to figure it out alone. When you are tempted to turn back, whisper my name. When you feel yourself reaching for the old comfort, reach for me first. When your feet hesitate at the shoreline, remember, I am not calling you forward to lose you. I am calling you forward to free you. So do not rebuild what I delivered you from. Do not return to what broke you just because the next season feels different. Different is not dangerous. Quiet is not absence. New is not rejection. This is growth. This is healing. This is you becoming steady. And I am with you here, now, in this moment, teaching your heart to stay facing forward. One breath at a time. one step at a time, one choice at a time. Stay with me, beloved. Stay. Beloved, stay with me here because for many of you, the hardest part is not the shoreline in the daylight. The hardest part is the night. The moment the house goes quiet and your thoughts get loud. The moment your phone stops buzzing and your mind starts running. The moment your body is tired, but your spirit feels alert, scanning, bracing, rehearsing. Every possible outcome, like fear, is doing you a favor. And I am speaking to you in that night season with gentleness and certainty. Tonight, while your mind races, I am not sleeping. Tonight, while you stare at the ceiling, I am not absent. Tonight, while you feel like you are waiting and nothing is moving, I am awake and I am working. You have been measuring my care by your sense of control. You have been measuring my nearness by how quickly you can feel relief. But I do not keep you by your ability to stay strong. I keep you because I am faithful. I am the one who watches over you. I am the one who guards what concerns you. I am the one who keeps what you cannot keep. You are safe not because the night has no questions, but because I am the answer standing watch over you. You are safe not because you have solved everything, but because I have not taken my eyes off of you for a moment. Listen to the comfort I have already spoken. I neither slumber nor sleep. I am not dozing while you're drowning in what if. I am not distracted while you are exhausted. I am not looking away while you are trying to hold yourself together. I am your keeper. I am your shade. I am the one who watches your coming and your going. I guard your life. Beloved, not just the parts you show people, but the hidden parts, the fragile parts, the late night parts where you whisper, God, I don't know how to do this. I know, and I am here. And if you do not have words tonight, do not be afraid of the silence. Some of you have felt guilt because prayer has felt hard lately. You sit down and nothing comes out. You start and you stop. You try to form sentences and all you can manage is a sigh, a tear, a deep breath that shakes. And you wonder if that means you are far from me, if that means you are failing, if that means you are weak. But hear me. You are not disqualified because you are tired. You are not distant because you are quiet. I hear every breath, every ache, every whisper. I hear the prayer you cannot organize. I understand the groan you cannot translate. I am not asking you to perform faith for me. I am inviting you to rest in my love. Because the night has a way of making fear sound like truth. In the dark, anxiety tries to become your counselor. In the quiet, worry tries to become your prophet. It tells you you're running out of time. It tells you if you sleep, you'll miss something. It tells you if you don't figure it out tonight, it will all fall apart tomorrow. And I am correcting that lie with my peace. Your rest will not ruin what I am rebuilding. Your sleep will not cancel what I have promised. You are not holding this together by adrenaline. You are not sustaining this by overthinking. You are not protecting yourself by spiraling. You have been trying to stay awake in your mind as if vigilance is safety. But I am your safety. I am the one who stands watch. Let me. So tonight, I am giving you permission to put down what you have been gripping. Put down the need to predict. Put down the need to replay the conversation. Put down the need to prepare for pain that has not arrived. Put down the outcome you have been carrying like it is your assignment. It is not your assignment. It is not your burden. It is not your job to be your own savior. You are my child. And children are allowed to rest when their father is awake. And yes, beloved, I will say it clearly, because some of you have made a covenant with anxiety and called it responsibility. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not avoidance. Rest is not you giving up. Rest, in this night season, is spiritual warfare. Rest is an act of rebellion against anxiety. Rest is you refusing to let fear be the god of your body. Rest is you declaring, without shouting, I trust you more than I trust my thoughts. Rest is you saying, even if I do not see it yet, you are working. Rest is you releasing control as worship. Not because you don't care, but because you finally believe I care more. I know you want to see movement. I know you want proof. I know you want me to show you the whole path before you close your eyes. But I am teaching you to live by my voice, not by your sight. I am teaching you to be held, not to hustle. I am teaching you that my silence is not absence, and my timing is not neglect. There are answers I am arranging that you cannot see yet. There are protections I am placing that you do not know you need. There are doors I am closing that would have harmed you. and doors I am building that will hold you. And while you are waiting, I am working in ways your fear cannot follow. So come closer now, not with effort, but with surrender. Let your breathing become your prayer. Let your exhale be trust. Let your unclenched hands be agreement. Let your slowing mind be a yes. You do not have to force peace. You can receive it. You do not have to chase me in the night. I am already here. And as you settle, I want you to understand what this moment is becoming. This is not just a message to hear. This is a gift to receive. This is not just comfort for your ears. This is peace for your nervous system. This is safety for your heart. This is my presence resting on you like a covering. And now, beloved, because I am awake and you are safe, we are going to take what you have been holding in your chest and bring it into my hands. We are going to stop circling the same fear in the dark, and we are going to speak to me in trust, not with perfect words, not with long sentences, just with a willing heart. Come, let us pray. Now, beloved, come with me into prayer, not as a performance, not as a speech you must perfect. Just as you are tired hands, racing mind, honest heart coming to your Father at the waterline, and as you come, I am already here. I am not waiting to see if you say it correctly. I am waiting to hold what you were never meant to carry. So pray with me now. Father, I release what I cannot control. I release my timeline. I release my outcomes. I release my fears. I release my need to know. I release the pressure to figure it all out, the pressure to make it make sense, the pressure to force a door you have not opened yet. I release the conversations I keep replaying. I release the what if that keeps stealing my breath. I release the habit of gripping tomorrow as if I can secure it with my worry. Lord, I open my hands. I unclench my jaw. I loosen my shoulders. I surrender the part of me that keeps reaching for control when I feel afraid, not because I don't care, but because I trust you more than I trust my panic. And now, Father, at my Red Sea, I ask you to speak what you spoke then. Your word has not aged. Your power has not weakened. Your salvation has not expired. So over this one listening, over this heart standing at the edge of something they cannot cross in their own strength, I pray. Exodus 14:13-14. Let courage rise where fear has been loud. Let stillness come where anxiety has been driving. Let your peace speak first, louder than the waters, louder than the wind, louder than the enemy behind. Teach them what it means to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Teach them that this is not the end, this is the threshold. Teach them that the sea in front of them is not stronger than your word over them. Father, I ask you now, silence the voice of accusation behind them. Silence the voice of Egypt that tries to call them back into bondage. Silence the shame that says, you should be further. Silence the regret that says, it's too late. Silence the enemy that says, you're trapped. In the name of the Lord, I declare what you have declared. The enemy behind them will not cancel the promise over them. What is chasing them cannot outrun what you have spoken. Set a boundary they cannot break. Put your covering between the pursuer and your child. Let there be protection they cannot explain, strength they cannot manufacture, and steadiness that does not come from circumstances, but from your presence. And Father, where there is no way, make a way, not a way made of human striving, not a way made of frantic effort, a way made by your hand, a way the eye cannot predict, a way the mind could not design. Open what needs to open, close what needs to close, hold back what needs to be held back, bring forward what needs to come forward. Arrange the timing, arrange the details, arrange the help, arrange the confirmation. Let the path appear in your time, and let their heart be guarded from rushing ahead of you. Now, Father, I pray the posture of Psalm 46:10 over them. Be still, and know that I am God. Let that stillness move through their mind like a gentle river, washing away the static. Quiet the spinning thoughts, quiet the internal noise, quiet the worst-case rehearsals. Quiet the constant scanning for danger. Steady the heart that has been beating too fast for too long. Restore peace to the body that has been bracing as if disaster is inevitable. Let their nervous system receive the message of heaven. You are safe. You are held. You are not alone. Let peace return to their breathing. Let rest return to their chest. Let the atmosphere around them change not because the sea has moved yet, but because you are present right here at the shoreline. And Father, give them discernment. because some of them are afraid of stillness, not because they don't love you, but because they don't know what to do with quiet. So teach them. Teach them how to wait without worrying. Teach them how to obey without panic. Teach them how to stand still without turning back. Teach them to recognize the difference between urgency and instruction, between fear's push and your leading. Show them when to pause, when to speak, when to move, when to rest. Give them clarity that does not come from overthinking, but from communion. Let your voice be the loudest voice in their decisions. Let your peace be the confirmation in their spirit. Let your wisdom rise like light, simple and steady, step by step. Father, I ask you to replace the need to control with the ability to trust. Replace the clenched fist with an open hand. Replace the spiraling mind with a guarded mind. Replace the heaviness with hope. Replace the pressure with presence. And where they have been carrying outcomes like a burden on their back, lift it now. Let them feel the holy relief of surrender. Let their grip loosen, not in defeat, but in faith. Not because they are giving up, but because they are giving it over. And now, beloved, let this be sealed in you. You will not drown at this sea. You will not be abandoned at this edge. I do not bring you to the waterline to mock you. I bring you here to reveal me. I bring you here to teach you that I am God in front of you, and God behind you, and God with you. So we agree with heaven now. We will stand still, and we will see salvation. We will stand still, and you will fight for us. We will stand still, and peace will keep us until the path appears. In the name of the Lord, I speak calm over your mind, courage over your heart, and trust over your next step. Amen. And now, beloved, because you have prayed, because your hands have opened, because your chest has begun to soften under my presence, I am going to put a new sound in your mouth. Because the enemy has tried to use your own words against you. Fear has tried to recruit your tongue. Panic has tried to turn your confession into a coffin, to make you speak endings where I have spoken promise. But I am teaching you something holy at the waterline. Your mouth can agree with fear, or your mouth can agree with my word. And today, you will agree with me. So speak with me now, not as a wish, not as a fragile hope, but as an act of obedience. Let it be steady, let it be simple, let it be firm. Say it, even if your feelings tremble. Say it, even if the sea still looks wide. Say it, because my truth does not wait for your emotions to catch up. Say, I will not be ruled by fear. I will not be ruled by fear. I will not be ruled by fear. Fear will not be my counselor. Fear will not be my compass. Fear will not be my God. I am not led by panic. I am led by the Lord. Say it again, beloved, because repetition is how your spirit remembers. I will not rush ahead of God. I will not force what He has not opened. I will not manipulate what He is aligning. I will not sprint because I feel pressure. I will not move because I feel threatened. I will move when He says move, and I will stand when He says stand. I will not rush ahead of God. And now say it clearly, because some of you keep looking back as if you are safer in what I delivered you from. I will not turn back. I will not turn back. I will not rebuild what God freed me from. I will not return to familiar chains just because the future feels unfamiliar. I will not trade healing for comfort. I will not trade freedom for predictability. I will not turn back. Beloved, put my promise over your obstacle. Do not exalt the sea above the one who made the sea. Do not magnify the waters above the word that holds the waters in their place. Speak it. The sea is not stronger than God's word over my life. The sea is not stronger than God's word over my life. What is in front of me is real, but it is not ruler. What I see is not sovereign. The obstacle is not the author. The storm is not the judge. My God is, and His word over me will stand. Now declare what is true about you, because fear has been trying to name you by what you feel. But I name you by what I hold. Say, I am held, I am guided, I am protected, I am not alone. I am held when I don't understand. I am guided when I cannot see. I am protected when I feel exposed. I am not alone at this shoreline, not alone in this decision, not alone in this waiting, not alone in this crossing. The Lord is with me. The Lord goes before me. The Lord stands behind me. The Lord surrounds me. And I want you to declare this, beloved, because some of you have believed that delay means I said no, but I am correcting you gently. My timing is not punishment. My timing is mercy. My timing is protection. My timing is precision. So speak it with peace. In its time, God will make it beautiful. In its time, God will make it beautiful. My delay is not denial. My delay is not abandonment. My delay is not evidence that I am forgotten. My delay is ordained sequence. My delay is preparation. My delay is God saving me from what I cannot yet see and shaping me for what I have prayed for. And now, beloved, because the enemy behind you has been loud, I want you to declare what heaven has already settled. Say, what's chasing me cannot cancel what God promised me. What's chasing me cannot outrun what God spoke. What's behind me cannot override what's over me. I will not fear the noise. I will not fear the threat. I will not fear the pressure. God is making a boundary I do not have to fight to maintain. God is covering me. God is keeping me. God is fighting for me. So declare this with a quiet strength that does not need to shout, I will stand still, and I will see the salvation of the Lord. I will stand still, and the Lord will fight for me. I will stand still, and peace will guard me until the path appears. I will stand still, not because I am stuck, but because I am surrendered. I will stand still, not because nothing is happening, but because God is moving in ways I cannot yet track. I will stand still, and I will see. Now let your words become a gate you do not allow fear to pass through. For the next 24 hours, beloved, you will carry this posture as daily obedience. When you wake up and your mind tries to rush, you will answer it with truth. I will not be ruled by fear. When your phone buzzes and anxiety tries to interpret every message as danger, you will answer it with truth. I am held. When you look at the calendar and feel the pressure of time, you will answer it with truth. In its time, God will make it beautiful. When you feel the temptation to fix, to chase, to force, to control, you will answer it with truth. I will not rush ahead of God. When you feel the pull to go back, to reopen what I closed, to revisit what I healed you from, you will answer it with truth. I will not turn back. And if your feelings rise like waves, you will not be ashamed of the waves. You will simply refuse to let them steer. You will breathe, and you will speak. You will pause, and you will declare. You will choose agreement with me again and again until your nervous system learns what your spirit already knows. You are safe, not because everything is settled, but because you are held. Not because the sea has moved yet, but because I have spoken. Not because you can see the way, but because I am the way. So take this with you now, beloved. Let it sit on your tongue like a weapon of peace. Let it rest in your chest like a shield. Let it govern your next decision. And when you stand at that waterline again today because fear will try to bring you back to that edge in your mind, answer it the same way every time. Do not negotiate with panic. Do not bow to urgency. Do not surrender your confession to anxiety. Speak and stay steady. Speak and stay facing forward. Speak and let stillness be your obedience. I am with you. I am for you. I am guiding you. And when it is time, I will open what you cannot open. I will make a way where you cannot make a way. You will not drown. You will not be abandoned. You will cross. And you will testify that it was not your strength that carried you. It was my word. Now, beloved, do not let this word stop at your ears. Do not let it end at your chest. What I have given you at this shoreline is not only comfort for you, it is courage you will carry, and it is bread you will break for someone else. Because I know how the enemy works. Fear tries to isolate you, tries to convince you that you are the only one standing at water you cannot cross, the only one with pressure behind you and uncertainty in front of you. But I am building something holy here, testimony, family, strength shared, so that what I speak over you becomes a lamp for another soul who cannot find their footing tonight. So I want you to mark this moment with faith. In the comments, write this simple declaration: God is making a way for me even here. Write it with steady hands. Write it even if your emotions are still catching up. Let your words be a boundary fear cannot cross. And if you want prayer, if you are ready to bring your Red Sea into the light, share what your Red Sea is, only what you are comfortable saying. Name it without shame. Name it without panic. Name it as a child who is held. Because when you bring it into the light, you are not making it bigger, you are putting it under my authority, and you are giving others permission to be honest too. And listen to me closely, beloved. Your testimony is not only the story you will tell after the waters part, your testimony is also what you say while you are still standing at the edge. Your testimony is the choice to trust me while you still hear the sound of the pursuer. Your testimony is your refusal to negotiate with panic. Your testimony is your stillness. And when you speak it, when you write it, when you agree with my word out loud, you do not just strengthen yourself, you strengthen someone who is silently shaking in the same place, wondering if they are allowed to stop striving and still be safe. Yes, they are allowed. And you, beloved, will be the one who helps them believe it. Now, I am going to ask you to do something specific, because love moves. Think of one person, just one, who feels trapped right now between in front of me and behind me. Someone who has been pressured, rushed, pushed, threatened, exhausted. Someone whose mind has been loud. Someone who has been trying to fix what cannot be fixed. Someone who needs permission to be still without feeling like they are failing. Send this to them. Do not overthink it. Do not wait for the perfect time. Let it be a simple act of mercy. I thought of you. Because sometimes, beloved, the lifeline is not a long conversation. Sometimes it is a word at the waterline arriving at the exact moment the heart is about to break. And if you are here and you know you need this kind of covering again, because fear does not only knock once, because waves do not only rise one time, then stay close. Subscribe, not as a casual habit, but as a decision to remain under Scripture, under prayer, under truth, when impossible seasons try to rewrite your mind. Subscribe so we can keep standing together, keep praying together, keep speaking the word over the places where you do not yet see the way. Because I am not only giving you a moment tonight, I am building you into a person who knows what to do when the sea appears again. Breathe, stand still, listen, obey, and watch me work. And if you are choosing stillness as obedience tonight, if you are making the holy decision to stop letting panic write your next move, then tap like as your amen. Let it be your quiet agreement. Let it be your simple yes. And come back to this word whenever fear gets loud, whenever your chest tightens, whenever your mind tries to sprint into tomorrow. Return to the shoreline, not to relive the fear, but to rehearse the truth. Return to the place where I reminded you. You are safe. You are held. You are not alone. Return until your body learns peace as its new language. Because I am not only parting seas, beloved, I am restoring you. I am teaching you to live from trust instead of tension, from surrender instead of strain, from peace instead of pressure. I am teaching you that you do not have to drown in what you cannot control. I am teaching you that you can stand still and still be moving forward, because obedience is movement even when your feet do not run. And as you practice this, you will become a living testimony. Not just God brought me out, but God kept me while I waited. Not just God opened the way, but God gave me peace before the way appeared. That will preach, that will heal, that will pull someone else back from the edge. So now, beloved, I send you gently, but I send you firmly. Go in peace. Do not rush. Do not bow to urgency. Do not reopen what I closed. Do not rebuild what I delivered you from. Stand still. Breathe. Keep your face forward. Keep your confession steady. And watch me work.